Hey guys, so welcome to FCA. I know that I'm not here right now and that's why I'm making the video, but all of the 9th and 10th graders are actually at a field trip right now, so wish us luck. I'm really expecting us to have a good time, but I did want to make sure that FCA got to speak in your life this week and that we got to try to make an impact as much as possible from our situation, so I made this video. So instead of trying to jump straight into a sermon or getting really deep into something that I'd rather say personally to you, I thought I would do another story because I think that you guys like those a little bit more than me just telling you some of the stories, which I'm definitely going to keep, obviously, don't get me wrong, but I did want to tell you some personal stories. So whenever I was younger, I was in 2nd grade and I went to Chavez and I had this teacher. This teacher, in my 2nd grade mind, had horns. Like, I thought she was the meanest person on earth, and that I just could not fathom the idea of why somebody would be so cruel to me, my precious little innocent little 2nd grade self. Yeah. Anyway, so whenever I would come into her classroom, she was my homeroom teacher, and we're gonna call her Miss Billion. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, we're gonna call her Miss Billion. So I would come into Miss Billion's class and I would sit down at my desk, just like all the other 2nd graders did, and instantly, because no 2nd grader has that much fat on their body to keep them warm, I was like freezing to death, and I was like shave my pencils while like shivering to death. And it would be cold outside, and I would just want to be like, you know, it's like freezing outside, Miss Billion. And of course, she would probably yell at me if I said that, so I never was like, hey, stupid, why is your room so cold? Because all of the rooms were, they can be controlled by their own teachers, basically. So I could not fathom the idea on why she would keep it so cold in her room, especially since throughout the whole year we were always like, can you just it's freezing. We cannot feel our toes, fingernails, eyelashes, hair ends. Like, we can't feel anything. We're all kind of numb. And she'd always get on to us because she'd be like, I want it cold in here. I'm really hot. And you guys just need to pay attention. And then, of course, being the stupid 2nd graders we were like, but we can't pay attention if we don't have our warmth. And then we would get in this whole back and forth, and all of us would get yelled at. So in my brain, I was just like, we're getting yelled at for speaking our minds. We're getting yelled at because we want warmth. We're getting yelled at because we want to feel our eyelashes. And that was just what was going through my head. And I was one of those kids, and I was like, to all my friends, I would be like, Miss Billion's really mean. And I don't know what's her problem or whatever. And for almost an entire year, I just did not like her. Every time I walked into a room and saw her, I'd always have that eye roll moment inside my head. I wouldn't do it outside because I would be afraid that her hamster would smack me or something. But I'd walk into a class and in my brain I'm like, oh my god! And I wouldn't want to be there just because I did not like this teacher. So fast forward 3/4 into the year, my 2nd grade self forgets her homework because, hey, y'all, follow the first habit, be proactive, because oh my god. I'm glad that at this point I didn't, but don't forget your homework, kids. Anyway, so I went all the way out to my car, realized I forgot my homework, made an entire line wait for me, and then eventually my dad was like, okay, you have 5 minutes, I'm gonna pull up over here. I was like, okay, thank you, Dad. And I ran all the way back into my classroom, and then there is Miss Billion. And she's doing something, but whenever I walked in, I thought I saw somebody else. Because she looked completely different in a way that you'll understand in a second. But I walked in, and I was like, why is there some bald guy just in here? Where's Miss Billion? And then I went to go get my homework, not really thinking about it, and then Miss Billion turned around. And for the 3/4 of the year that I knew her, I thought that she had a full head of hair because she always wore a wig, and I thought that, oh, she's just smiting us, she's just being mean, she doesn't want us to feel her eyelashes. And I always was so angry at her, but in that moment I realized, oh my gosh, she's bald and she wears wigs. And later I learned that she's not just bald, she also had cancer. And I remember being like actually disappointed in myself because I judged a book by its cover, and I said, this teacher is just keeping it cool because she's being mean, and this teacher is only yelling at us because she doesn't like us. But in reality, that teacher, I later learned, I still know her, was going through a lot of heartache and a lot of pain, and she was really scared. And she never took off her wig until after I saw her, because I just looked at her and I was just like, oh my God, Sarah, you're an idiot, oh my Lord. So I got my homework, I said hi to her, but every second grader, even if they try to hide their emotions, you know that, they're looking at you funny or something. So I probably looked at her like, the entire time. I can imagine my facial expression. So I got my homework, I went back to my car, and I was like, Dad, Miss Billion's bald. And he went, you mean the teacher you don't like? And looking back on that, before I knew that she had an issue, did not say anything but mean things about her. Miss Billion is being mean. Miss Billion is so rude. Miss Billion told me I'm dumb, and she told me I was a bad reader, but that was my fault. Not her fault. And just thinking back, I can just be like, oh my gosh, Sarah, this lady tried to teach you and then tried to make her own comfort zone feel comfortable to a point where it was normal. Because I can't imagine feeling normal, keeping my room hot all the time because I can, and then having to wear wigs constantly and being hot and itchy and hormonal and in a bad mood and just going through a lot, and then her kids arguing with her. I did know that after that, I only said nice things about her because I perceived her differently. And because after I understood what was inside the book, the outside cover didn't matter to me. Seeing the book cover, the inside, the ending, the story just is so much different than seeing somebody the way that they try to make themselves look. Miss Billion was just trying to make herself look like that mean, controlling, I'm gonna do this and you're not gonna like it person, because in her own life she couldn't control anything. And if you were to get to know her now, you would know that she is one of the most nicest, submissive. If you don't know what that means, it just means like if somebody's yelling at me, she'd be like, okay, and just give in. So submissive means like give in. And that's who she tried to be for us, because she didn't want us to know. Because she made her cover of her book look so wild and so crazy to a point where we didn't even bother to even think about what could have been her story, given we were young. But going into your day and, going into day-to-day things and getting mean teachers and having that friend talk about you, or maybe you just waved at somebody and they didn't wave back. Just think, okay, nobody was born a mean person. It's a learned habit. So if they learned how to be mean, okay, give grace, forgive in your heart, forget, move on. And if you learn those steps, I know it's really hard, especially when it's big things in your life, can make a big impact. If I had sat down and been like, okay, Sarah, Miss Billion yelled at you today, she's keeping the room cold, but that just means that she is going through something and she's taking it out on you, regardless of if you think that's okay or if anybody else thinks that's okay, you need to forgive. And I probably would have been so much nicer and such a happier student in her class. My whole attitude went down. I was such a little punk. Just walk into her room and I'd be like, I don't want to be here. Just because I didn't think maybe this teacher actually has a life just like me. Sometimes we forget, especially with teachers and grown-ups, that they actually have trials and errors and things they're going through, because whenever you're younger, you're just like, okay, what do I think? What do I need? What did I? And it is scientifically proven that you're not able to see the big picture until you're older, but if you start to learn to be understanding and to be able to calm yourself down and to forgive and forget, you can develop so much faster. It doesn't matter what science says if you believe that God can give you the patience and the understanding. Sometimes whenever I'm mad at people and I don't evaluate the situation, I just put my head down and I'm just like, okay, God, I don't know what you're thinking right now. I don't know why this person is in my life. I don't know why you decided that it would be a good idea for this person to be in this situation. I'm in the middle and now they're kind of cramming me together and I don't want to be here with these negative people, but I'm going to try to understand. And even if I can't understand, I'm going to forgive them. And sometimes it's really hard. I know right now I'm probably making it sound easy and you're probably like, well, it's easy for you to say, Sarah. And I'm working on it too. Everybody has trials and, things that they have to go through. I stand up here in front of all of you being a normal human being, just like everybody else, making mistakes all the time, getting mad, judging people by their covers. I try not to do it, but of course everybody does that. So don't think that I'm trying to under or overestimate your capabilities or what I can do, because I'm telling you this because I had to learn it the hard way, not because I've mastered it. A lot of the stories I'm going to tell you are going to be things that you will be like, okay, I understand. And you're probably going to be asking yourself, well, why does she get to teach me about this if she doesn't even do it herself? And what I'm going to say back to that is, I'm going to try to be the best example for you that I can be. And I really hope that you don't gain a disrespect or dishonor towards me. But if you do, that's not really a negative reflection on me. So just be going through your day, maybe thinking, okay, this person, yelled at me yesterday, but I'm going to forgive them and understand. Or maybe you have a sibling. Oh my God, siblings. If you are lucky enough to have nice siblings or lucky enough to be a single child, then you might not understand, but sometimes siblings are those people that you're around so much and you're just like, you're really on my nerves, and it can break up relationships to not forgive. So, I know I've talked for a really long time, but moral of the story is I want you guys to just be able to forgive and be able to get over the covers that people put out for each other, because everybody wears a mask. Everybody doesn't show their true selves all the time. Everybody tries to come up with a way to hide their insecurities and what they have to go through. And it's not our job to meddle in their life, but it is our job to make sure that we love everybody for who they are, regardless of if they hurt just inside to a point where it reflects their behavior. So I need you guys, I don't know if you moved the tables or not, but if you did, you can put them back. And then I hope you guys have a great day. So, bye.